Hey, welcome to the United We Scan podcast. Just a quick disclaimer here that any of the views and opinions expressed by the individuals are not that of the USPS or the NRLCA. This podcast is for entertainment purposes only, and if you are in need of any assistance, please contact your designated union representative. Thank you. Welcome back, everybody. Episode 141. We're going to keep this somewhat short and sweet tonight. No major topics to discuss, but we'll touch on a few things. And I've been under the weather most of the week and starting to finally feel better. And I know it's going to be a week as Christmas overtime started yesterday. So we all know what that means. We're in for the long haul for the next 3 weeks. So, Josh, how was your week?
It was a week. They getting a bit cray-cray out there. Like the other day, I got loaded up and forgot something, came back in to grab whatever it was, and the supervisor was started about, I can't have the rubber bands sitting on the case. I have to put them back in that little pouch on the side. Everything's got to be clean. So other than that, it's, like I said, it's just a week. How was your week?
My week was crap. It was a full week. I'm exhausted. We got all that Black Friday, Cyber Monday stuff, or I should say the beginnings of it. So, there was one day, was it Wednesday? Yeah, Wednesday wasn't the worst, but Thursday, Friday, and then yesterday really just kicked my butt. Walk in and you just see the wall of parcels, and you just have to sit there and mentally think, am I going to fit this all in one load? Am I going to have to make 2 trips? And just try to mentally prepare yourself for it. But it Christmas comes same time each year, and you just have to I don't know, grin and bear it. But
You
I
keep
think the
saying
worst
that,
part,
but you
the
keep
I
saying it
think
comes the same time of year, but the message seems to prove otherwise by
yeah,
their
they
actions.
forget. Yeah, they forget. What do you mean? What do you mean we're gonna have an influx of parcels? But I think the roughest part though of this last week was it sucks when you leave to go to work and you get to see your kid for like a second and like either take him to school, and then you don't come back home until like right before they got to go to bed. So that was a little bit rough. But I will say, not delivering Amazon parcels, because I've had to deliver freaking toilet paper, and I'll go on a rant about that in a little bit. But delivering the actual like wrapped presents, that is very rewarding to me. So it's not all negative in delivering packs of jumbo toilet paper, but but delivering the actual like wrapped package and knowing like it says like do not open until Christmas, like those ones at least, like okay, if I can deliver at least one of those every day, it makes it worth it. So, but how was your week, Kristen?
Well, as I mentioned there in the beginning, I was pretty much sick all week. Monday, I felt fine for the most part. It was a Monday, 210 scans on a Monday. And then Tuesday, I woke up with a sore and swollen throat. And then by the time I got home Tuesday, I was not feeling hot. Had to run to the Walmarts with the girl to pick up more stuff for Christmas floats and whatnot, and decor for my LLV. And yeah, by the time I got home, I'm like, I'm going to bed. And then I woke up Wednesday thinking I should have called in. Went to work fighting, I don't know what this fever was, because I went to try and find a thermometer, and well, we found it, but the battery was dying, so it kept erroring. And so I never knew how high my fever actually got, but I can tell you from the way I was feeling, it was pretty darn high. But I popped a couple ibuprofen, took some Tylenol with me, a bunch of water, and bundled up and went to work and suffered through it. And Thursday, I felt even worse than I did on Wednesday. Still worked through it. Started to feel a little bit better Friday. I mean, it was still pretty rough when I went in, but come by Friday, by the time I got back to the office, I was starting. I think my fever at that time had actually broke and was being controllable. So didn't have to work yesterday. Yay! And I'm still, the fever's gone, but the throat's still a little scratchy and sore and whatnot. But I'm feeling a heck of a lot better today. So I push through it as we do when we don't have a choice. We do it. So, and then Saturday they had the aux carrier take my assigned LLV swapped out with the sub. That way, my LLV could be back to the office in time to decorate it up for the parade. And in which I
Yay!
did, I which I posted pictures in the Discord, I posted pictures in our Facebook group, I posted it in another rural carrier group, and on my personal page. So thought we had 6 people going, and it dwindled down to 2 clerks, a city carrier, and the supervisor who walked alongside the LLV. And let me tell you, the community was quite surprised to see us there, but it was a good surprise. And it was very well received. So it was fun, waving at the kids. We didn't hand out candy, but I had 300 glow necklaces left over from summertime that the glow stick ones. And so I handed each container to a clerk and said, "Here, you guys go. You can hand these out to the kids." And that's what we did. And it was fun. Everybody had fun with it. We all enjoyed it. And then I stopped and because it was cold and dark last night and everybody wanted to go home, and she's like, "You can come by tomorrow and take the decorations off." She told me I could keep the garland and stuff on for the season, but the way I had everything clipped together with the string of lights and the garland, it was easier just to pull the whole thing off the LLV, and I had to take the big, huge blow up Santa hat off because that was ratchet strapped down there through the windows of the doors, so there was no way to open the doors. Even I had to climb in and out of the back for the parade. So, but no, it was fun. And tomorrow is back to the grind again, and we are officially in the Christmas OT period as of yesterday. So, see what happens.
Yeah, we in it. We're
Uh,
really in it.
From what it sounded like, some people were trying to get the OT on day one.
Yeah.
All the OT.
But no, it was the parade was cool. The community really was like, whoa, even as we were lined up in line for the parade and whatnot, they're like, "Oh, post office is here." And then the former person in charge of the Chamber of Commerce director is now since retired, lives on my route, and I saw him checking out Ruby's float and whatnot, and right in front of us, and so I hopped out and went out and talked to him. He's like, "You guys have never been in this before." I said, "No, this is the first time. It's the 20th anniversary of the parade and the first time for the post office. And we're already planning next year." So
It's so
that
cool.
was, yeah, it was. I mean, the postmaster couldn't make it. She really wanted to, but she had other plans. But she did order pizza and soda for us for before the parade. So the one clerk that went with us, he went and picked it up and brought it in, and so we got pizza and pop before we went out for the parade. And yeah, it was nice. It was.
Little community outreach part, and that shows that visibility, of us. That's really cool.
Did you get many letters for Santa?
We didn't get any, but that's okay. This was our first time, and it was just a few
Right,
Facebook group blasts. But we think if we can make this an annual thing, that it'll eventually change. So,
right. Well, I
Nice.
know because you guys were planning to
yep,
collect and postmark them.
yep. And if we had received any, that's what we would have done. So, now we have extra time to plan for next year and hopefully get it approved sooner than 2 days before Thanksgiving, which is only a week and a half away from the parade, and and then we'll make flyers up and whatnot. I think for next year and get it out the word out a little bit sooner. So I think that'll be cool. Yep, it was a good
Nice.
time. Even
Nice.
even the one little local Buzz Hub guy who live streamed it. Obviously, I'm in the parade, so I couldn't watch the live stream. So after I got home and I was watching it, and when I found where we were, he's like, "Oh, even the post office got in this year."
Shocking.
It was. It was shocking, you know. Every year in July, we have the Asabal Canoe Marathon, which is known around the world. It's an international event, which is a 120-mile canoe marathon that starts in a town 120 miles away on the river and ends. The finish line is in our town, and they have never had a float or anything. So this year they had, I think it was two of the local guys that do the marathon. There's a bunch of locals that do it. We've had international people come to do it. A lot of people from out of state and everything. It's really pretty cool. It happens overnight, but I'm not going to get into that right now. And they had an upside down race canoe with lights strung along the sides, and the guys were carrying it like they carry the canoe for the marathon when they do the parade into for the water, and so it was tipped upside down. The two guys carrying it down the parade path. That was pretty cool. First time for them too.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Yep,
it's
first time for us.
festive.
Yeah, it was 20th anniversary for the parade and the first time for the post office. So, and everybody loved it. And I
That
guess some kids were making comments about the Santa Claus decal on the window. Supervisor told me I had to keep that on for the entire season. I said, "Hey, no problem." She's like, "Where'd you get that?" And I was like, "Amazon." And she's like, "I think I might order one for everybody."
Yeah, and you can see
hey,
around it and see through it,
20,
so
Yes, yep.
it's safe.
Yeah, it is safe. It's
20,
just go ahead.
20 years for the 20 years for the post office to get involved. That
Yeah, it took
tracks.
20 years for the post office to get into the parade. Yep.
That tracks.
It does. It
That's
does.
about how long it takes them to implement anything.
Isn't that true? At least a decade for sure.
Well, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I was just going to say 10 if they fast track it.
Yeah.
Yeah, fast track. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
See, we sped it up.
15 if they're not quite fast tracking it but trying to rush it. Um sorry,
Yeah.
Rex.
Oh my goodness. Oh
You know,
my
they were trying
goodness.
to get that right
Yeah. They
Yeah,
tried.
sure.
and
They
complete.
they they tried.
Participation trophy for it, you know. But
Does it even deserve that?
no.
Right?
Some of them
Oh,
do, but not everybody who was involved in it.
I know. I had to go buy Little Man. I asked Ruby, I says, Little Man have a winter snowsuit coat and stuff? And she's like, no. We still have to get boots and snow pants, but he is now the proud owner of a Carhartt winter jacket. Compliments of
Nice.
Merry early Christmas from Grandma.
Yeah. Like, oh.
I will go with quality. And I looked at Ruby and I said, and if his cousin is here next year at this time, we're passing the coat on to him.
I was about to say, you got another grandbaby that can
I was like,
wear
family
that.
first. Because she's like, or so and so's kid. I said, family first. She's like, I
Family
know.
first.
So,
I can tell you 15 years ago, a pair of Oshkosh overalls of mine were still in circulation from when I was 2.
so yeah. So I made sure he at least had a coat and a Carhartt winter hat that Velcro's on the bottom for him this year. Now we just gotta find snow pants and boots. Getting there.
To
All
start running
right.
around in it.
Yeah, I know. He
Oh,
looks so cute in that coat, though. It's adorable.
like, oh,
I
babies.
know. Yeah, my
Um,
baby. And he's just been loving on me so much the last couple of days because I've been so sick. I've been like literally come home from work and go to bed and maybe get up and try to eat dinner. It hurt to eat. One night I made turkey stock with my leftover turkey and made some turkey soup. I think it was Thursday night that I made that, and that's when I started feeling better. Was Friday. I'm like, maybe all that garlic and onion, everything else I put in it helped me
all
out,
the
you know?
nutrients.
Yeah, but I didn't eat much because I couldn't. It hurt. But
Yeah.
yeah, thank goodness I'm starting to feel better. So now that Grandma's feeling better, he's all wanting to be snuggly with Grandma because he missed her.
No. It's like, I didn't
Yeah,
want to get you sick too, buddy.
I know exactly.
But,
Okay, enough
well,
chit chat.
so, no, we're all good. It's, there. I mean, we were just going to talk about two little things. Nothing
Yeah.
like too pressing, I should say. One of the things was there was a Washington Post article that was talking about how Amazon is going about exploring and expanding its coast to coast delivery network. And whenever Amazon's doing anything, us as postal workers are always like, what are they doing? Because some of us, I should say, not everybody in the country, delivers quite a bit of Amazon packages.
Mm-hmm.
And there's some areas that I know they deliver all of Amazon's parcels. Amazon's not there at all. And then there's other areas where Amazon has completely taken over their delivery, or like 99.9% of it. And then there's other areas like mine where we're kind of in between, and Amazon gives and takes, I should say.
And I will say that
They're
there is still some of those offices that are that rural that do not get Amazon at all.
Yeah.
I have an
Yep.
office that's about 40 miles from me that doesn't get Amazon. Two route office. They don't get Amazon at all. In fact, they don't even have a mail truck. It's a contractor that comes from another office to drop off their mail and pick it up in a
Oh
van.
my gosh.
Yeah.
Well,
So you still have
but
that mix. I mean, ours, we have quite a few Amazon Flex type drivers in our area, but we still handle the bulk of it. I mean, if I was to lose Amazon, my route would probably drop to a 40K. That
Oh, you
and
deliver that much of it?
Yeah.
I'm in an
Wow.
area where there's in a 10, 20-mile radius, like 7 Amazon hubs now.
Mhm.
And we still get a lot of Amazon.
Yeah.
Usually it's the big heavy stuff.
Yep.
But
Like the toilet paper.
mm,
Yeah, I'll go on my
yeah,
little rant after you're done. Sorry.
Yeah, don't get me
yeah, so
started on the 2 cases of toilet paper
you
for a
know,
business that sat at my case for 3 days. Business
Oh,
closed from the day after Thanksgiving until Monday because yeah, I know. I know. I know. Go
well,
ahead.
and what's
yeah,
interesting with Amazon is that in the old mail count system, it was really frustrating because if it was an office that just got Amazon, which I know a lot of them, like there's still a lot of offices that never counted with the Amazon,
Hmm?
versus now where the ebb and flow is semi okay because our evaluations are based off of the 52 weeks. But it's it's almost like a I don't know if I want to call it an abusive relationship, but it's a very it, it's mixed because we it's good for us as a postal service to have the revenue, but then at the same time, is the postal service charging Amazon enough for us to be delivering these
No.
and for them to crutch on us? Or why isn't Amazon giving us all the little ones that they know will fit in the mailboxes and having their guys take the bigger ones? I mean that's
yeah.
the question I've
Well,
always had.
I want to say for the part where you asked, are they paying enough per parcel? Probably not. At least when their contract originated. However, because they are pre-routing them and dropping them to the delivery units, they don't necessarily need to be paying either.
What
If that
if?
makes sense,
Well, I mean, what
because
if
they're
the post office wants? I mean, here you're looking at. Here's a scenario. What if the post office wanted to process all that stuff through the plants?
what the Joy was trying to do, which is why UPS stopped using us because they wouldn't let them. They told them they had to drop it or send it through the processing plants
Yeah,
and
but now
pay full
UPS is
postage.
coming back though too.
Right. But I don't know if they're going to do the same, the drop ship at the back door, UPS, the pallet or at the delivery units.
I had a FedEx package that came through the plant the other day.
Yeah, I did too.
I had to take a double,
I get
triple
that
look
every
at the
once in a
label
while.
to find our barcode, but yeah, it was a FedEx package.
Yeah.
You see, I have them without, I've gotten, without our barcodes on them. Now it got into
Posted.
our, put it off to the side so they can send it back to FedEx. Let them
Yeah.
do their own job.
Pulled a
Well,
UPS
so this
Amazon
kind of,
box out of a mailbox the other day. I'm like, really?
oh,
The house is 30 steps from the mailbox. Really?
I had some new fly-by-night delivery service that pulled the package out.
yeah, I did too. And I
And
pulled them
luckily,
out,
I
and my
had.
manager sent them back.
At least you found where they can go. We couldn't figure
Well,
it. Didn't ours didn't have a return on it. So the one supervisor I was working with, well, I gave it to the one supervisor, and 3 days later it was in my gurney again. And I showed it to someone else. He wrote postage due on it, and then he says, "There's no address, dead letter,"
Nope.
and sent it back dead letter.
so
Hey,
my
I feel bad for
supervisors,
that customer.
yeah, but I mean, we have to figure out ways for us to gain revenue. And I mean, people try to be like, oh, the post office is going bankrupt, but then they like take advantage of it. And it's like, no, like you need
Well,
like these stupid
but
fly by night, poo dunk, whatever delivery services can't be using our mailboxes
yep,
or acting like they're postal workers. And like, no, it's you got to go to the front door.
yep,
That's my customer's mailbox. But um
yep.
so so there was all kinds of articles that were posted about this Amazon thing, and people were freaking out. And then all of a sudden Amazon comes out and tells another news anchor or newspaper place that it's not exploring the possibility of ending its long-standing partnership with the USPS, as it weighs a dramatic transformation in its prime delivery operations, and that they don't want to cut ties. They want to do the opposite. And without a doubt, our goal is to continue working with the USPS as we have done for the past 30 plus years, and are going to continue to push to reach an agreement.
Hey,
So they can't give us up.
it it is not economically or logistically.
work in their favor.
Yeah. I mean, even like we said earlier, UPS is coming back too.
Mm-hmm.
And
We're the only service that
my,
goes to every address.
yep, out there in the boony lands. And especially us as rural carriers, we're going to still see that
Yep.
because we're still driving out there to deliver. I know people get mad at the junk mail, but honestly, the junk mail is why we still do that, because we're a service.
And
But
man, have I had trays of junk mail lately.
yeah, progressives and
Oh
all that.
gosh,
Yeah.
yeah. Did you all get the
But
the Credit One credit card here? You're pre-approved that they all came
yep.
out of the envelopes or
Yeah.
had the side of the
Start flying
envelope
off.
ripped off. Yeah, that was this
Yep.
past week. I'm like, oh, there's no
Yeah.
envelope for this.
Like a tab with it, or it's weird. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Getting caught in the machine. But it's very interesting to me. I when I first started in 2015, we did not have Amazon, and then about 6 months into me working there, we got Amazon. And I like to remember seeing like, okay, you during Christmas you have the hamper of all the priority boxes, and then you have multiple hampers of just Amazon.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have like the fruit, like the Harry and Davids and uh the pears and the oranges and
And
stuff.
I
But
haven't, and over the last couple of years, I've hardly seen any of that.
yeah, another company delivers that now.
Yeah.
So, but it's weird though, because in my area they built an Amazon hub, but they haven't opened it. But I see tons of Amazon drivers out on my route, along with like private contractor ones that they use,
Mm-hmm.
which I guess is their equivalent of an ARC. But
The Amazon Flex.
yeah, some of them. But they also, I don't know, the other, what was it, on Thursday? I saw two of them in the street yelling at each other because one had to come help another. And they were like trading parcels around. And I'm just sitting there looking at them. And I'm going to the same house that they both just went to deliver an Amazon package.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then I kind of alluded to this earlier, but like the Amazon yesterday and this last week has gone back to our old volume of them, it seems like, to the point where like last night it's 5:30, the sun's going down, and I'm delivering a case of toilet paper. So my and so I walked back in and I was talking to my supervisor about it, And I was like, the moral of the story is that Amazon still needs us to wipe their butt for them.
I like
She just
that.
like it's December, the Saturday after Cyber Monday, and I'm delivering a case of toilet paper
Hmm.
because from Amazon.
Yeah.
So, but it is what it is. It's gonna so uh Amazon's not going anywhere.
No. And
They're addicted to us.
and even they said in all everything I'm reading, this is for in the negotiations for the contract that expires October of 2026. So you still there. I mean,
Yeah.
there's still 10 months on this contract, anyways. They're not. I'm not gonna worry about it because we've been through this before. I mean, at my old office
Yeah.
when I started, late 2014, early 2015, and we didn't get Amazon in that office till September of 2017. And then from
Yeah.
what I heard, my current office, they got it 2 weeks after the 2018 mail count. So my
Ooh.
office was one of those that did not have Amazon in the count until RX went into effect.
Oh,
Where
Yep.
I started with Amazon in just before Thanksgiving of 2012.
they can't
So,
give us up. They're
so
not gonna give
that
us up.
that was a fun Christmas.
Oh,
Let
I
me
can
tell
Yeah.
you,
imagine. Yeah. And we know we
especially
deliver
RCA.
everything. The hub drivers, because we have the Amazon Hub Flex drivers. In fact, I have two Flex drivers that I know of that live on my route. One of them gets the stuff dropped right at his doorstep by the box truck. But they don't get the stuff we get. We get the boxes of the dog food. They Some do, some don't, depending. We get the big, huge, double stainless steel sinks that come in that take up half the back of the truck. We get that stuff. I literally had a second trip for one house, 6 boxes that filled the truck. That's why it was a second trip for the one house. Because I had 5 huge ass boxes in the back of the truck, and the smallest huge ass box was sitting on the tray so I could take it up to the house. I mean, we get that crap. And then there's
Yeah.
FedEx, then there's, UPS and them dropping off the little poly mailers. And I'm like, really? As I'm lumping
Yeah.
up 6 heavy boxes.
Yeah. Let me put this giant dog food box next to your small little spur here. Like
Mm.
so ridiculous. But
Let me put it
so
on
there is
top
that. I
so
just
yours doesn't blow away.
yeah, so the dog food doesn't blow away.
So their poly envelope doesn't blow away.
Right, right.
You put the dog food on top of the envelope so the
Yeah.
envelope doesn't fly away.
Yeah.
Does anybody hate those paper bags more than anything?
Yeah. Yes. After yesterday. Oh,
I
I was
absolutely
they.
cannot stand them.
Oh, I was. I had like ones that you could tell there was a box inside of it, and it was like too big to fit inside of mailboxes, but it was like the paper bag, and I'm like, what? Oh, okay. New Amazon packaging unlocked here. Just
And it rips open easy. It doesn't fold very well.
yep.
I can't stand them. Though I do know in a medium sized box I can stuff 4 of them in there, as long as the stuff in them is soft.
Yeah, and even like those tiny little Amazon boxes that they have,
Mm-hmm.
those will fit in a normal, like in a regular
Yes.
mailbox.
Yes. Now the next size up,
And
the
but
little
this
bit
thing,
wider ones will not fit in the standard metal box, but they will fit in the slim plastic ones
yep.
because
Mm-hmm.
of the height difference. Oh, I know. It's just like you're looking at the package going, and we're looking at who it goes to. The box will not. Nope, that one won't.
Yeah.
Yep, that one will. Nope, yep, nope. Yeah, you can eyeball what will fit in a farm box anymore too. It's
Yep. Yeah. Until you get last night, I was delirious after delivering, or while I was delivering, and I was looking at one of the boxes, and I was like, "That'll fit in the parcel locker," and I was like, "No, it won't. No, it won't." And then I tested it because I just didn't want to have to go to another front door, and it was like, "Nope. You should have You knew better. You knew better.
I
You were gonna
had
have to take it
one
to the
I was
door."
questionable with. I had one that was questionable with for parcel locker, but I was like, it slid right in the taller parcel locker. And I'm like, okay.
Nice.
Now it's just to see how long it's going to take this business to actually come check their mailbox and take the parcels. Because I've had
You-
stuff sit in there for months. So yeah, and they do. I know. Yeah, I know. I can pull it and send it back or leave a notice, whatever. But when you don't, they don't check their mailboxes regularly either. So, it's like a game for me. I have a couple of those
Yeah,
businesses. Like, all right, how long is this gonna sit here?
just waiting for them to come get it.
Yeah,
Oh
yeah.
Yeah.
my goodness.
You know,
So,
It
the
um,
larger
does.
parcel lockers, if it'll slide in a tub, it'll fit.
Good to know.
Because
that is good to
those
know.
those bigger parcel lockers are about the same size as a tub.
Yeah, I can
Like
see
Wow,
that height and
visual.
width wise. Yeah. Okay. Yep.
Nice.
But,
Well,
I
so
learned
the
that a
second thing,
long time ago.
yeah. So the second thing that I thought we could talk about just briefly. I know it's kind of we're just what is it? Corey Walton calls it the salted peanuts
mm-hmm.
when we're just like a bunch of random topics. But um, so on, I'll just say it from a more of a personal part of this. But on Monday, at the end of the day, after the chaos that was Monday, I was on Facebook and I saw that a bunch of people were posting, they were having questions about their pay stubs. And I was like, okay, well, let me log in and go look at my pay stub. And my pay stub had 11 adjustments on it. And some of the adjustments were for like nothing. It was just, it had all the numbers and different pay periods. And it just said like $0. Whereas some of them had a little bit of amount, and but on in total from all of the adjustments, I ended up getting like $17.23 when I added it up. Now I, I mean, you could just be like, "Oh, cool! I got $17.23 from the post office." But me being me, going, why did
Uh
the
huh.
post office give me $17.23?
Yes.
And are they going to come back for it? And like that, I'm going to owe them it back now? Or is there a mistake somewhere? And so I started looking at not only my pay stub, other people's, talking to different people. And the main similarity that I found was that it was something with FLSA overtime for regulars. But that didn't really fit with all of the subs, the RCAs and the PTFs having the adjustments. So, um, so long story short, I ended up asking different people, and it basically was told to me that it was about the the big beautiful bill, no tax on overtime, and it was something to do with that. But I still, being who I am, I like the analytical part of understanding each bit of it, you know. So, um, then finally on Friday, which is our actual payday, mind you. I know some people really don't look at their pay stub until payday, but I'm a weirdo and I have anxiety and I like to look at it the moment I know I can.
Me
But
too.
so Friday, the union finally came out with and said, um, which I'm also going to preface this by saying the Postal Service should have been the first ones to tell us and let us know what this is because they're the ones who did it. So, but out of courtesy, the union posted this and said payment adjustments related to enactment of HR 1, which is House Resolution 1. The NRLCA has been notified by the Postal Service of adjustments related to enactment of HR 1, known as the OBBB, which is One Bit Beautiful Big Bill. That was passed like at the beginning of this year or whatever. Or what was it, May? I
Something
can't
like
even
that.
remember.
Earlier this
Been
year,
I don't
anyways.
know.
Yeah.
Yeah, so yeah. That will appear as multi-pay period adjustments in paychecks received 12/5/2025. The USPS has stated the adjustments will only result in increases in payment of varying amounts to rural craft employees. The union has been provided limited information detailing the calculations used to determine the adjustments. We are working to schedule meetings with the employer for further explanation. We will keep the membership updated as additional information is provided. So I'm happy they finally said something, but me being who I am, I'm like, okay, like, why did the Postal Service do this now? Like, did the IRS or somebody release anything? And if you Google no tax on overtime, on November 21st, the IRS released an article uh, titled "The Treasury IRS Provide Guidance for Individuals Who Receive Tips or Overtime During Tax Year 2025." So they gave like a guideline, and most of this article is about no tax on tips. But the no tax on overtime thing from the IRS states for tax years 2025 through 2028, individuals who receive qualified overtime compensation may deduct the pay that exceeds their regular rate of pay, generally the half portion of time and a half compensation that is required by the Fair Labor Standards Act, and reported on Form W-2, Form 1099, or other specified statement furnished to the individual. Maximum annual deduction is $12,500, $25,000 for joint filers. Deduction phases out for taxpayers with modified adjusted gross income over 150,000, 300,000 for joint filers. The deduction is available for both itemizing and non-itemizing taxpayers. And then certain employees are exempt from the rules on overtime. Generally, the FLSA requires that most employees in the United States be paid at least the federal minimum wage for all hours worked and overtime pay at not less than time and a half, their regular rate of pay for all hours worked over 40 in a work week. However, the law provides for certain exemptions. Today's guidance provides a series of examples illustrating situations that workers who receive qualified overtime might encounter. Today's guidance does not affect any rights or responsibilities regarding tips or overtime contributions under the FLSA. And then below are abridged versions of some of those examples. And it gives some examples, but it doesn't give. It's not. It doesn't necessarily explain it in rule carrier speak. Does that make sense? What I'm saying? Like, we know
Yes.
we get the FLSA overtime rate during Christmas because I mean we've gone over this like the last couple months, and if you're assisting on other routes, you're getting the FLSA overtime rate. So I would see that as qualified overtime.
Yep. And when I like you went and saw everything, and so I had to go check mine, and I noticed I had adjustments for one pay period. So I went back to that check to look at what it was, and yes, that was the FSLA from when I assisted on a route during that pay period.
Yeah.
You know, mine was a whopping $12 and change, and after taxes was like $9 or something like that. I'm like, ooh, whoopee, big deal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Y'all are rich.
Now let me tell you.
I had 6 adjustments, 5 of which were for zero, one of which was 6 and change, and after taxes, $4.
So the
So,
way that it looks to me is that the percentage of how they calculated our taxes changed.
mm,
But what doesn't make sense still to me, and we'll have to wait for more guidance, is the way that the IRS has presented this is that it would be on our W-2 and it would be sectioned that way. And so part of me was like, because you have to like try and think about how Egan and postal accounting are doing things in their backward way that they do things sometimes, that they are calculating maybe how many hours you do have for that, and they're going to show it on your W2, and this is them preparing for that. But that's just me speculating. um the other thing that I noticed, because I like Josh showed me his and I've shown him mine, and his actually the adjustments on his shows FLSA overtime specifically spelled out. But on
Yeah,
mine,
it
none of
says
them
that. That
say it.
Now I want to go look at mine and double check what it said.
Yeah, so it's very strange. And my other understanding of this, if the theory was correct, is that the subs going over 40 hours, that in my eyes would qualify as the overtime because they're not salary. But if they didn't work actual hours over 40 and they got like eval for, like, let's say they're on a 43K and they only worked like 38 hours, so they ended up getting all eval, I wouldn't say that's qualifying. But I'm not, and I'm going to preface this, I'm no tax person. I'm just somebody trying to figure this out for myself and for others because it is confusing.
Oh, it is.
But the other part of this is so House Res 1, or the One Big Beautiful Bill Act, in section 70202, no tax on overtime. And this on the Congress website, congress.gov. Deduction allowed, part 7 of subchapter B of chapter 1, as amended by the preceding provisions of this act, is amended by redesigning section 225 as section 226, by inserting the yada yada yada. Qualified overtime compensation, there shall be allowed as a deduction an amount equal to the qualified overtime compensation received during the taxable year and included on statements furnished to the individual pursuant to section, and I'm not going to read all that, limitation. And then it's what I already read earlier about the $12,500, $25,000 for joint. Um,
Yeah,
but the other,
mine where everything is zeroed out, how it balances each other out. Because again, mine was only one pay period, and it does where the $12.35, it does say FLSA on there. That's
yeah,
my only
even the ones
addition.
that I had that were zero FLSA had a line item for FLSA
Yeah, I don't.
on the
yeah, and mine
adjusted
didn't.
stuff.
No, mine didn't either.
Um, yeah, so I don't know what, I mean, you can, if you personally want, I mean, you could just go look and maybe manually calculate it yourself. But it's like some certain percentage it looks like they took out of your gross income. And if you really want to, you could go over the last year from January 1st until now and write down like how many hours you worked and what you think would be qualifying overtime versus not, so that when it comes to tax time and W2 time, you at least have some of that information. But most of it sounds like it's going to be tax issues, not postal. So,
Right.
That's the sounding of it.
And like the
yeah,
question I posed to you the other day when we first talked about it is, are they my taxes back now? So now I can't, it's no longer been taxed, so it's not something I can file? Or are they
yeah,
just adjusting your overall taxes to a lower percentage and you can still claim it?
yeah,
Because if they're just eliminating the tax and giving you the credit back now, then we won't be able to, which is why we need the
yeah,
answers of what did they do and why, and
yeah.
what is the end result of it.
Man, I really wanted that $17.23 at come tax time, you know.
The things I
Just,
read scrolling through Facebook, and I'm sorry, I have to mention this one since we're kind of doing random
yeah,
stuff. This person says, I finished all the training in Academy. My first day, I went to the office and they didn't have anyone do on the job training. Just gave me the keys and told me to call if I had any questions. Guess that's holiday
Oh,
season for you.
Oh my gosh.
My question is, can they come
Oh,
back on me at all? Wow.
Uh,
can they or will they are two different questions.
I mean,
Should they? That's a third question.
absolutely no training first day in the office. Here's the keys. Call if you need anything.
Yeah, no shit.
Seriously? That
when
uh,
I when
And
I
they
worked,
that
wonder why they
RCA
don't have
really needs to be
subs.
in touch with the DR ASAP.
yeah.
Yes, yes, yes.
Oh my gosh.
Hey, and now just think, with that $17 now, you can go get yourself one of your delectable, overpriced, overcooked caffeinated beverages.
Oh, I will. I'm going to go to Dutch Brothers and get me a.
That's
I'm going
not
to get
what I
me
was
two
talking
Dutch
about, but
Brothers.
sure.
When I
And
worked
Dutch
at Toys
Brothers is
R Us,
probably cheaper.
yeah, it. Oh, I love Dutch Brothers, man. But
I said they're
when I
probably
worked at
cheaper,
Toys R Us, yeah, and they're kind of pricey
and they
too.
probably
But
don't, but they probably don't burn their beans when they're roasted.
mm,
I don't know what to
Just
do with
saying.
my
but
$9.88 after taxes.
ah,
I mean, that doesn't even buy a new vape. I guess that'll get me a monster and a bag of chips at Speedway when I fill up with for gas. I don't know.
that's
My
that one big
$4
beautiful
might,
bill for you.
Let me tell you.
my $4 might get me a kid-sized drink at a fast food joint.
Yeah, because that wouldn't even get me a value meal anymore. I don't even know why they call them value meals. Um,
Yeah, they're not
there's no value
not no
there
more.
anymore. Oh my, oh my. Yeah. I'm sorry that.
I saw so I the other thing I saw the other day was the city carriers have like a new mentorship program too for their new hires.
Uh-huh.
And
Yes.
I'm like, why don't we have that? Because like this, that would at
I
least eliminate, hopefully,
I
this crap that's
I
going on.
kind of used that as my platform the couple times I ran as VP. As
Yeah,
having a mentorship. I mean, I get, and not all offices or even districts do the OJIs. I know if people
yeah,
tell, well,
I
we don't do that anymore. What are you talking about? We don't do that anymore. That's what their training materials come back and specifically say must be done by a certified on the job
this
instructor.
date. Yeah,
And it's just like, all right, so why can't, I can see, and there's some awesome OJIs out there, and there's some not so great ones as well. But and you have these offices where nobody wants to train anybody because they're not getting paid any different. To me, it's not about the
yeah.
pay when it comes to training. I want to train somebody to succeed. But you
You just want to retain
also
some subs.
that too. Um, but they still need somebody that's gonna, even once they get the concept down and they're doing all right, they're still gonna have questions. They're still gonna need somebody to lift their spirits up when they have a regular that took a day after a holiday off at right out the gate, or just something like that, or they're on a Monday relief day, and they still
Yeah,
need that person that's going to have their back and just kind of, hey, it's okay, we'll get through this. Not necessarily training them on the job, but being that positive energy that they need. Somebody that can just,
how dare you want that?
exactly. It's, you really need a mentor. And that way, as they're getting, and then if they end up, offices that have ox routes, they get on an ox route. Maybe you have that mentor that can sit down and show you how to use an edit book. Somebody that's willing to show them how an edit book works, or how to
Yeah,
do case labels. The stuff that RCAs normally don't have to do, or
what?
necessarily an ox route end up on on a long term, into a designation 74 position if possible. If that happens, if it goes that long term, somebody's got to, they got to be able to keep up that edit book and
yeah,
the mapping
Well,
and case labels and stuff like that. That's the only way that you're going to teach these RCAs to succeed, especially once they become regular. And it
well,
is to, hey, let me just kind of, I'm here for you. Any questions, please? If you have questions on this, you want to know how to do this, stuff like that. You need somebody that's willing to do that. There should be a program
Yeah.
for it too on our side. I agree.
Well,
Yeah, we'll
we
see
just
what
have
they
to put
can
a
do.
resolution in because that's one of the things that's actually in their new contract this year.
Mm-hmm.
But
Yep.
I want to say a few years back at the state convention, and just to date it for you, um, Ms. Knapp was the national board member that year. But it was brought up, the young lady said that she had taken it upon herself to start training all the new RCAs, and their retention had skyrocketed because it was being done with uniformity in the training
Yeah.
for all the subs versus the regulars who may or may not give the full, you know, attention to detail. And I had inquired about why they don't push the OJI position as much. And an answer I was given was that it's fine line because training is a management function.
Management's responsible for training. Yes, management's responsible to get them trained. Now, I could have had the
Right.
opportunity to go to another office and train an RCA this week, but I was needed in my office because my assigned RCA was covering half the route for the route that was training with the other
Right.
trainer in our office. And
Right.
so I didn't get that chance. And I know the last RCA that they had come through that other office, the postmaster was the one that had to do the OJT. And I was like, I wish I would have known that. She could have contacted me directly. She got my number. She used to be a supervisor and a city carrier in our office. She could have, hey,
Right.
are you available? Or any questions? I would have helped her out. No big deal. Because that's just the type of person I am. But yeah, I mean, you really need, and even if it's not necessarily somebody, even if it's somebody nearby, we've got within 40 miles, just straight down US 23, we have 4 offices. There's no reason why you couldn't have somebody centrally located that's willing to mentor new ones that are just not quite getting it yet, even after they've been trained. To, hey, what can I help you with? Where are you struggling? Can I give you some ideas? Can I, you know, come down and just see what's going on?
Yeah. And I think the way the program works is that they buddy them up with someone with a
Mm-hmm.
senior veteran carrier.
Yeah, something like that. I haven't looked into it too much, but
Yeah, and they do the 30-day, 60-day, 90-day reviews, which they should be doing anyways, but I think it's more enforced with it, but I don't know. I'll have to look into it a little bit more, but I just thought of it with you saying that this brand new sub just, all right, go
day
deliver the mail.
day one, here's the keys. Call if you need anything. Wow, that I'm just blown
Yeah.
away. Even
When
Yeah.
I
back in the day before OJTs, OJIs, and we were trained by the regulars, even I didn't get that.
At,
That
at least you
was,
had a week with your regular before they or almost a week with your regular
yeah, before they
where they said
released you
have it.
to the hounds. Yeah.
when I worked at Toys R Us, it was I worked for the cash office for Toys R Us. I could talk about it now because Toys R Us is gone, but they would there was somebody who had no training and they put them on a register overnight between like Thanksgiving and Black Friday, and their drawer was like thousands of dollars short, and they couldn't figure out why. And the other lady who would do the bookkeeping and the cash office stuff with me looked at camera footage and figured out that the person that hadn't been trained and they were hitting cash when the customer was swiping their card because
Ah,
they weren't trained.
yeah.
So something as simple as that, like that's things that get affected from lack of training.
No, it is.
And ever since I knew about that and watched it like because we had to count the drawers and figure out where it was missing, and that it was something that she had to watch the customer's hand movement and realize that that's what it was. But it's just it reiterates the importance of of adequate training because that they let the person go.
I
They
agree,
didn't keep them.
and I can totally see like that within the post office too, because you get new leave replacements in, and if they haven't, yes, Academy gives you the basics of how to case mail, or markups or what to look for on whether it's UBVM or something like that. But it doesn't really, it's that on the job training to pay attention to what is a forward and what to do with that forward or holds and stuff like that and what to look for. A lot of that is memory too, especially if your office does holdouts for your holds and an address isn't getting held out, and so you're just delivering that mail because it's not dawning on you that it's a hold because it may be marked in the case as a hold, but it's in the DPS and it's not being held out, so you're not looking for it. Stuff like
Or even
that.
like, yeah,
Like I come back to my case and I see a piece of mail stuck in one of my CBU slots and I pull it out and I look at it, and it's for a business that I did a move left no address for, but it's marked as a forward because it's a move left no address. And the thing is that piece of mail was right there where it's labeled right there on the case for that business name and address to be forwarded, but the mail's back in the case. I mean, that's
yeah,
that's training.
proper
That's
training to
training.
see. Yep,
You know,
Yeah.
that sub might not pull all their mail
yeah,
to case to deliver,
yeah,
and they're going to go out and try and deliver however they're doing. Come back, and management's going to try and go after them. Be like, why didn't you deliver all your mail? Oh, I didn't know.
yeah.
Or or you have, like, I had a sub once that um she would come in, literally throw everything in the truck and go. No piece of mail ever hit the case, including the dispatch tubs and hot case mail. Well, it's assuming hot case. And she would just run the route like 4 times,
Wow.
get it all delivered. Yeah.
It's
Wasn't because she wasn't
training.
trained right.
It's. I was trained to case your flats, you case your flat size mail first, case your letter size mail, your hot case, your raw mail, and then move on to your parcels. Because, well, in my office specifically, we're waiting on the clerks to still throw the parcels anyways. I mean, I get now in SNDCs, most of the time you come in and everything's ready to go for you. Even if that was the case, I'd still be casing my flats first, then casing my raw letters. That's just how I work. And I try to teach that to them too easier because it's easier to case the flats first, then the raw letter mail. And then mark,
Yep.
and if you're using parcel markers, then you put your parcel markers in with that. And I see people marking they're going to town on the packages. They're doing all the packages first before they even touch a lick of mail. Meanwhile, everybody is already out and leaving for their routes, and they're still casing mail because they waited on the packages.
Well, I do like I do my raw mail first, or bundles, then raw, flats, and then letters. And then if they're done, I will get my uh, parcels and check them. That way I can, if I have any missed those in there, it can get to where it's supposed to go to whoever to take it.
Yeah,
I, I know I had a supervisor or manager years ago tell us when once the DPS gets there, if you're casing it, he wants you to case the DPS first and then everything else after. And his reasoning for that is if you've already cased your DPS and you're working on raw flats or letters, they're not in order. You put them in. He can't put you on he can't make you go to the street. If you do all your raw stuff first and put it up in the case, now it's in order, and then the DPS, which is supposed to be in delivery order, he can tell you to hit the street, which at least he gave reasoning why he does to do it that way, instead of just, this is what I said, like some supervisors or managers would do.
My thing is
Yeah,
especially if you're in offices where you're having, they're still sorting parcels, throwing parcels by, when you get there, and for a good portion of the morning, you should have all that mail up. That way, when those parcels are ready to go, that's me. I'm coming in and I'm throwing parcels first. Or not throwing parcels, excuse me. I'm throwing up my mail first. I get my mail done. And if the clerk's still over at the hot case going through the raw letters or whatnot, or I kind of glance behind me and I see that my pumpkin's getting full, then I'll stop, and because sometimes you just need a break from what you're doing at the moment, and I'll move the parcels from the one pumpkin to the one that I take out to load the vehicle with. And and then if I see that they're still busy over at the hot case, then I'll go start loading the truck. And then I always do my smalls last, because that way, if I have super small stuff, I can throw that up in the case. I'm not going to pull down until after all my smalls are done, and then I pull down and do my final load. So, I mean, I have my system that
Right.
works for me. Y'all have your systems that works for you. I'm not going to knock anybody's system that works for them if they do it different. That's, we all do things differently. But it's
Yeah.
just really weird to see people come in when they weren't trained that way to do all the parcels first and then not touch a lick of mail. And I'm like, what is going on? Why are we doing this? This is wasting time. But that's me. But all right, guys. Anything else tonight?
Is there anything?
We ended up not
I was
quite
just
so
going to ask
short.
that.
I think that's it.
All right. Not too much going on, so we made it easy. Go ahead. Your final words for this evening, Josh.
Um, the weather's still changing out there. I know some people have already gotten that dreaded word that shall not be named.
Oh yes, got plenty of it.
Dress appropriately. Be safe out there. Watch out for black ice, or depending on where you're at, even worse, in my opinion, is wet leaves. Can be worse than ice for the slickness. So be careful out there. Be safe. Don't get overwhelmed. If you do, take a step back, take a deep breath, and step back in. Meow.
Well, thank you guys. I know we kind of there's not a lot going on, but there is a lot going on in us delivering and trying to make Christmas special for everybody. And so I know mentally I'm just really tired and whatnot. So um, to reiterate what Josh said, I personally think black ice is worse because Friday I slid on black ice stepping out of my vehicle to deliver a parcel to the front door because the snow melted and then refroze once it got dark. So be careful out there. Don't fall. Um, take it slow. I know there's heavy volume, but do what is safe for you. Don't let management bully you into thinking that you need to be running. You got to do what's safe and efficient for your own self. Again, I'm gonna reiterate the EAP. If you need help, if you need to talk to somebody, I know us having to deliver all this volume can be overwhelming. But the phone number for EAP is 1-800 EAP for you or 1-800-327-4968. It's completely free for you if you're a postal employee and for anybody who's in your household. Um, use it. It's if you really need to talk to somebody, even if you just somebody completely outside of your immediate circle, they will help you. So um, even though it is cold and snowy, make sure you're drinking enough water and staying hydrated, eating enough protein. I know yesterday I was struggling with that, and you got to make sure you're taking care of yourself during the chaos too. So, but yeah, please just take care of yourselves, guys. So, Kristen,
Thank you, guys. I guess this ended up being not quite so short, but still sweet. And yeah, staying hydrated definitely is the key. I know this past week, being as sick as I was drinking triple the amount of water I normally do out on the route. And it's dry, it's cold, snow. It was a week for me, that's for sure. But yeah, guys, you got to stay safe. You got to stay hydrated. Take precautions with the weather. The Christmas load is, it's never friendly to us, but it doesn't last forever. Thankfully, 3 weeks for the Christmas overtime period, and then we go into returns and gift card season. So it it'll eventually end. It doesn't last forever. We can get through this as we always do, and we kiss our families goodbye and say we'll see you at the new year. So, but on that note, guys, stay safe, stay vigilant, stay hydrated, and we will be back next week.